up to the ceiling and a wall covered in graffiti. That's what they call modern art today. Just ahead of us there's the Millennium Pedestrian Bridge. Lovely little bridge, one of the smaller bridges that span the River Thames, designed by Lord Norman Foster. It gives lovely views as you walk across it, up Paternoster steps to your left of the St Paul's Cathedral. Now, before they built this bridge in the way, that was the best view we had of St Paul's, looking up those steps. You might just be able to see it as we pass on your left hand side. Look at that.
Going to come over this way.
There it is. Nice view of St Paul. Now over to the right hand side, ladies and gentlemen, behind these trees you'll see a large round white circular building with thatching on the roof. This is a working replica of William Shakespeare's Globe Theatre. Now I want you to look at that theatre, because that's exactly what it looked like in Shakespeare's day. But did you know, ladies and gentlemen, the original Globe Theatre wasn't there in Shakespeare's day. It was here at Southwark, but it wasn't where that one is. If you'd like to know where it was, look ahead of you to the next bridge, just ahead of us, the Southwark Road Bridge. Look to the shore arch on your right. The other side of that archway, you'll see the back glass building of the Financial Times. That is where Shakespeare's Globe Theatre stood when he was walking the streets of London. So how do we know that? Well, it's simple, really. When they was laying the foundations to build this office block ahead of us, they come across the round circular pole still in the ground of the old Globe Theatre, right here to your right. So we know that that's one clue, but there is another clue. If you look, once you go under this bridge to your right, you'll see some red parasols or umbrellas outside a very ancient riverside tavern. It's called the Anchor of Bankside. Do you know there's been an Anchor pub on this site here in London for 460 years? This tavern to your right, which you'll see any moment now, in those days used to be frequented by the diarist Samuel Pepys, Dr. Johnson and William Shakespeare himself and some of his cars. William Shakespeare and some of his cars actually used to get changed in the attic of the old Anchor pub before made his appearances here in the Globe Theatre, which stood nearby. It's a lovely old tavern, the Anchor. Now on a summer's day, which they promised it was going to be a summer's day today, very hot they said, but it might do, it might change by lunchtime. On a summer's day you see up to 200 to 300 people sitting outside that tavern. It's a very popular place to eat and have a drink. Now the next bridge is the Cannon Street Railway Bridge, and as we go under this bridge I want you to look to the right, and very shortly in St Mary's Ovey Dock on your right you'll see a small pirate ship, and there she is, look, just ahead of us. Now, did anybody see that film Pirates of the Caribbean? Did you? Well, you see that ship over there? That's got nothing at all to do with that film. This is a working replica of Sir Francis Drake's Golden Hind. Drake circumnavigated the globe on an identical ship to this one. It took him over 3 years with 80 cutthroat pirates. He plundered all the gold and silver in South America and brought it all back for Queen Elizabeth I. And on his return for the epic voyage, he was knighted by Queen Elizabeth at the Royal Naval Dockyard at Deptford. And if you're coming down to Greenwich with us, I will point out the exact spot where that all took place. Ahead of us we have the very famous London Bridge, the fourth London Bridge to stand on this site. Now you've all heard the very famous nursery rhyme. Just listen to those bells. That's Southwark Cathedral there, the third oldest place of worship here in London. Beautiful. Now, the fourth bridge to stand on this site, the first bridge, you've all heard the famous nursery rhyme, haven't you? London Bridge is falling down. That's actually true. The first London Bridge, built by the Romans in 43 AD, collapsed and fell into the River Thames. The second one burned down, of course, in the Great Fire of London of 1666. The third London Bridge, the foundations were sinking very slowly into the Thames mud in the late 1960s.